Transformers will return after these messages.
Hi everyone and welcome to Nicko's Kitchen's Christmas special. Today we're going to be making the most famous Christmas cookie. We're going to be making gingerbread men.
Identifying
The king of cakes. ChoppA for the win.
G'day guys, welcome back to Gingerbreads by ChoppA. No, I'm kidding. So yeah, thanks for that, Nicko. I've stolen your recipe and I've turned it into a Optimus Prime gingerbread and I am super happy with him. I wish I would have not brushed the piping, but I'm an impatient person. Anyway, if you want to learn how to make Gingermus Prime? No. What's a cool, funny nickname where we can mash gingerbread on Christmas or something? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to learn how to make this, stick around and I'll show you now. First step is follow the link to this card and make your gingerbread. So now your dough is ready out of the fridge. It's come back to room temperature. Oh, I feel the slap on that baby. We've got our template printed. This is a fairly simple template. Each piece has written on how many times you need each individual part. So we're going to cut them out. There's a few little extras that we'll use for the scraps. And let's go. We're gonna roll out our dough to a nice even thickness. A good tip is to put your double parchment paper so that it doesn't stick to your rolling pin and tear it up. And because we're working on the trailer, I'm gonna try and keep it as rectangular as possible. Okay, that is now at my desired thickness. I can take this top layer off, put it aside, and start cutting out my trailers. I know what you're thinking, ChoppA, we probably should separate this, but I'm not going to because part of this process is double baking and you need to trim it because gingerbread spreads a little bit. So we'll come back with our template and we'll place that on and trim it up so it's not, you get nice and smooth edges. Now that we've got the first part of the trailer in the oven, I'm going to cut out the rest and we'll put them aside ready to bake. Now we are back, everything's baked, cut and prepped. I will tell you though, mine is going to be slightly different to yours on the template. When I did the measurements and counting all the pieces, I didn't put a base underneath the cab, so I ended up cutting it out of the base of my trailer. Yours will have 4 sides for the trailer. I've just improvised, so just pay attention to that on your template. All the pieces have been fixed for that. Now that everything's baked, cut and cooled down, if you need to trim any of your pieces, make sure you do it while it's warm because it's going to be pretty much impossible to do it without breaking once it's cooled down. I've made my icing. And I also should recommend that you guys go out and get a board big enough. So when you cut your template, position how it's going to be and think this is how much of a board I need. I only have this chopping board that's going to be only just a bit smaller than I need. So I'm improvising. The first step I'm going to do is place on these 2 pieces, glue them down with a little bit of icing. The parts that are cut out here on this thinner edge, you don't want to get them mixed up. There's 2 of those which are the side of the cab. We're going to place those together. So we're going to take the large square that is our singular piece. I'm going to put a border on the sides. We're going to get our cab pieces. Make sure you've got the right front and the back and just glue that down. Do the same for the back of the cab. You can prop that up whichever way you feel, making sure that the top piece will fit. I'm going to go get some props to start the trailer. So I place the cups like this, then I can run some icing down here and just make sure that is standing vertical. Now this is where you can put your 4th layer on. As I said, I'm improvising. You can see with the 3rd piece that goes on the top, I have made them. So when you sit it on top like this, you can see it's got a little bit of room either side. On the top it's going to be like this, but on the bottom I'm going to rotate it and glue it to the front and the back. And that's going to create the little overhang, which will let us sink the wheel in. Now that we've glued all the cab together, we're going to move the trailer back in. I'm going to pipe on the icing on the front and the back and apply the front and back pieces of the trailer. Now for the front of my Optimus Prime, I'm going to use some red icing and I'm going to Just fill that. Now I'm going to use my little spatula to smooth out the areas that I want to not have a piped look. Now this will be where I take his bumper and I'm going to stick that bumper on. I've printed off another template to follow. You can just see the details. I'm going to go and add some extra detailing. I'm not going to give too many more instructions about this part because I'm going to leave the trailer very gingerbready, very Christmassy. But yeah, you can decorate him however you like. I hope you guys have fun with it. Now let's go. I'm going to just have fun decorating. This is the point where I wish I had more patience. I just want it to be finished. Okay, for the sake of the video, I'm gonna construct it together and pipe off some of the things. I would definitely wait a lot longer. I'm very new to piping and I sort of rushed the cab. So if you do the red part first, let it set, then pipe your white parts, you'll get a lot cleaner. And definitely don't stick your finger in it like I did. I iced it all on, it was nice and neat, and I'm sitting there and I was like, okay, I'll just move that. Don't do that. And place that on the front. Then you've got these two little fuel tanks. I'm going to stick them in. Now before we stick the trailer on, I'm going to ice the back and smooth that down because we just want it to color it. We don't want it to be too bulky. I took some candy pieces and I made little exhaust pipes with candy canes as well. I'm going to stick them on. Now we want to secure the trailer, so I'm going to just zigzag back and forward. I had this thought afterwards. I should have stuffed the trailer full of little packaged candies that last. That would have been a really cool surprise when you smash it open. But hey, I didn't. So now I'm going to take the trailer and sit it on the back, just behind the fuel tanks, making sure it's balanced. We nearly had an accident then. For the wheels on Optimus, I'm just going to get some chocolate drops or freckles. You can make these out of fondant or miniature Oreos, whatever you have. I'm just going to glue them together, just something that's the right size it's going to fit in there. Now to pipe on your finishing touches, ever so carefully. I'm going to try and hide some of the stakes and not make more. Now that I've looked at that wheel again, I'm not too happy with it, so I am going to go to the fondant method. So roll that out, and I'm going to flatten it, coil that around the chocolate just to make it a bit thicker. There we go. Take these back ones off and do the same. Now I'm going to make it look a little bit snowy underneath. This is going to help hide your joins. So just with your leftover icing, fill all up in there. Just squeeze out all the excess in and around the tires. Now I'm going to use my spatula to just go through and wiggle that around. Okay, now you're putting on your finishing touches. I'm going to add a few little Christmas trees around. And the piece de resistance is part of the reason for the snow. Let's add a little Santa and make sure he stands up. There you have your Gingerbread Optimus Prime. I think he's super cool. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video. I'm super happy with him. I wish I hadn't rushed the red icing, but I'm an impatient person. Thank you for a wonderful year. I wish you guys a happy and safe holidays. Merry Christmas. Bye guys.